Now, in our first story, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is evacuating 5 containers full of illegal rosewood impounded at the Tema port last month. The containers were marked for inspection after the Energy Commission raised red flags that they could be containing illegal charcoal. Even though the harvesting, transportation and export of rosewood has been banned since 2013, several investigations have revealed illegal trade of the endangered species still continues. Now, as investigations are carried out to identify and apprehend the owners of these 5 containers, the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry is moving the logs from the port. My colleague, Manuel Kranting, is at the Tema port and joins us live with more on this. Manuel, do we know where these logs of rosewood are being taken to? Manuel, please raise your voice. It's difficult to hear you.
Tema port, somewhere at the Achimota forest. Indeed, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, Samuel Abujinapo, makes the point that government has taken a firm decision to, from today, donate all confiscated rosewood to the construction of the National Cathedral. He says that this is to, as it were, discourage the illegal trade of rosewood. He mentions that the export, the transport, and indeed the felling itself of rosewood within the territory of Ghana are all banned. And this ban has been in force all the way since 2013, except for some, underground dealings which keep these operations ongoing. So behind me you can see the containers of the rosewood which have been confiscated. They were just shut. Now, from here at the Tema port, it's moving directly to the Achimota forest to be stored there for onward transportation to the site of the National Cathedral to be used there. Daniel.
Manuel, do we have an update on the state of investigations so far, since the logs have been confiscated for a while?
Yes, indeed. The logs were confiscated on 17th of June 2021. That is more than a month ago. Samuel Abujinapo makes the point that indeed a collaborative effort which comprises of the Customs Division, of course the Ghana Police Service, and indeed the exporters who were on their blind side going to have exported this particular containers of rosewood, have been able to identify the owners, except he will not put out a name of these owners. He says that the police is handling the criminal bit of the investigations, and then when culpability is established, he will come out with the name of the culprit. And as you would know, before now, confiscated rosewood were auctioned for local use, but that is not going to happen any longer. Now all of it, as are confiscated, will be heading straight to the ridge area to be used in construction of the National Cathedral.
Now, the point about the National Cathedral is curious, Manuel. Did the minister explain why they chose the National Cathedral site and why they were not destroyed, for instance?
Well, this is a question that the minister will not readily answer. His, first inclination was that he believes this action of donating to the National Cathedral will discourage people who are dealing. He refers to them as an illegal cartel. These illegal cartels will be discouraged from carrying and transporting the rosewood. That is much about the explanation that he will give to this, the government's choice of donating rosewood to the construction of the National Cathedral. Daniel.
Okrantin, thank you very much for that update from the Tema port. Now, fishermen at Elmina have been justifying their rejection of the bags of rice and gallons of oil offered them by the Fisheries Minister, Madam Hawa Kumsin. According to the fishermen, they have no need for the rice and oil package the minister donated to them under the guise of hardship brought on them as a result of the closed season. Rather, they accuse the minister of failing to stop the illegal transshipment at sea, popularly known as psycho. Richard Kojonyako was at Elmina to engage the fisherfolk.
This is the fishing community of Elmina. In fact, it is one of the largest fishing communities in Ghana. In terms of the fishing industry, the practice here is very vibrant, and you cannot talk about fishing without talking about Elmina. But something remarkable happened. The Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Mavis Howard Kumsin, came to the central region, started distributing outboard motors to fisher folk. In fact, these are outboard motors that the fishermen have actually paid for. So after that, she decided to come to Elmina to share some bags of rice and cooking oil.
The man was a to solve a problem in the nature. And here, you had to be a sebedi that Yadi, Eben, I say, Yegman and Intemi and Quo. Yegman say both two sides, you were petroleers are, don't I friends, I cool. And they began and come out some. Na batan so itu maybe na makodu na yeden insanokol enwa hanti into nka de binum nka we adwuma no wundi di na yeden no on block na enfa emu ketekete enfa madada yen mana me di nda yen.
So this gentleman is telling me that they rejected the bags of rice and the cooking oil basically because the season was closed, and then they expected that if the minister had something to give them, she would have given them from day one. The minister does not have to wait till they are left with 4 days to the opening of the season, and then the minister comes in to give them these bags of rice. He is indicating that these days, the fishermen that are there, they are sophisticated. They are not like the fishermen of old, where they could easily come and then deceive them with bags of rice and other items like that. And so on the basis of that, they rejected. Now let's come to the light fishing. The light fishing, we all know that it is against the fishing practices here. Why is it that the minister spoke about it and then she's seeking to enforce it, and you people are angry and you booed and jeered her?
The way you go on the American them light fishing no one answer catch a free no better hand. Names are free the years so. I don't make a what's a maybe about fun technology, but this time we'll go by way do upon Noema. And Kebe, I want my room, and can say so be also a boss light. This no. The disadvantage of women, when you man on friend, you know, from no Yensha, no church, because my and Tassi,
or market some from no, or you can't, but 2 more minister, no, the mad or your insult, or your insult, very insult, or your Beshama at Nameni, na, this ain't in the a closer apple. Waka just 5 days. Ima we buy apple no was about. Na aka face rent the baby me there 1 day. And so on particular,
So essentially what this man is saying is that the rice and then the gallons of oil that were brought by the fisheries minister, it was just like an insult. In fact, you close the season and then 4 days, 5 days to the opening of the season, and then you bring them the rice. Why are you bringing them the rice when they have endured all the difficulties and then the hardships?
Martinez or Bibia and by Bibia and Tamala are to Purum, no bear. Yaka 2 days, no to my crying Muna, because I already know on to Auto Punam, did that. Yet you're a psycho, and no more about watching what you're going to him. Yama bear 10. The jumper, Obi and Obi who obedient who was psycho, what is so what's in what and will too go soon. If you saw what pumping machine or pumping Manamia soon.
Now, Richard also had an interaction with the minister over the enforcement of the fisheries laws after the closed season.
There was the 2 successful closed seasons that we've had, and the measures we're going to put in place. We've already discussed with the fishers that we are not here to allow them to do all the illegal methods of fishing. That is dynamite, DDT, light fishing, psycho, and all of them. We say we are not going to allow them. If they should do it, we're going to use the law. We will enforce the law on them. And I believe they've also come to realize that we are very serious this time around. Because it's one of the reasons why, or some of the reasons why, the EU nearly issued Ghana with the yellow card. And so we're not going to sit down for them to do those things on the sea. The Marine Enforcement Unit will be around to make sure that they are monitoring them. We're also getting some equipment to monitor them. That is when they come from the sea. We'll go and then test the fish. to detect whether there is a chemical in the fish or not. If there is any chemical, then you'll be arrested. We've also told them that these are the measures we are taking. I believe gradually we'll get there.
Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command has arrested 30 suspected criminals terrorizing residents of Aboabo, Tinker Island, and environs. Exhibits retrieved include 1 foreign pistol, live cartridges, pair of scissors, assorted mobile phones, and a military jacket. Others are wrappers of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp and tramadol tablets. Ohiming Teria of our security desk has more.
Police spokesperson ASP Godwin Ahianyo tells Joy News the swoop is one in series to rid the region of criminal dens. He revealed more of such swoops will be organized to relieve residents of the nefarious activities of criminal gangs.
The command in recent times has received a couple of complaints from residents in and around Aboabo, Tinker Island and its environs. To the effect that there are some criminal elements within the vicinity who have been attacking passers-by and some residents. And because of that, the Regional Police Command decided that we embark on an exercise in the form of a swoop to be able to get these criminals arrested. A team of personnel from the anti-armed robbery unit and then the regional headquarters operation embarked on this swoop, and we managed to arrest 15 persons within Aboabo, Tinker Island and its environs. As we speak, they are in custody. We are screening them. Those found culpable will be put before court, prosecuted to serve as deterrent to other would-be criminals. Police retrieved a number of exhibits. As we speak, we have 1 foreign pistol in our custody. We have 3 live cartridges, machetes, 15 pair of scissors, quantity of dry leaves suspected to be cannabis concealed in brown envelope, and quantity of tramadol tablet. We also had a military jacket and assorted mobile phones, but as we speak, they are taking their fingerprint and profiling them. So I'm sure when we are done with the screening, and after the profiling, we'll come back to you again and let you know those who are found culpable.
The region has in recent times recorded some violent crimes. 1 person was killed at Aboabo during the Edo Ada celebrations as armed gangs brandished weapons. The police command assures residents of adequate security as it flashes suspected criminals from the region.
Previously, we used to embark on these swoops at various criminal dens. Sometimes we go to Swame, Kotoko, we go to Colombia in Krofrum and other criminal dens. This particular exercise was because of the complaint we were receiving from the residents in and Aboabo and its environs. So as we have embarked on this, we are going to continue and extend our operation to these areas I've mentioned and others that I've not mentioned. We know within the metropolis we have a lot of criminal dens, and it's going to be done simultaneously. Other divisional police command will also embark some on same, for instance, Obuasi within same, Swame, and other divisional police commands will also embark on this exercise. We just want to assure the general public that the police command is poised to make the communities and the metropolis safer.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohiming Teria reporting.
Let's stay with security, and after 33 years of dedicated service, Inspector General of Police James Opombwenu is pulling out as a police officer and handing over to the incoming Acting Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare. James Opombwenu has been IGP since 2019, when President Akufo-Addo elevated him from his role as Deputy IGP. This afternoon, at a very colorful ceremony at the police training school, the top hierarchy of the police service is bidding farewell to him as he proceeds on leave pending his retirement on 1st August. My colleague, Kweku Asante, is at the event and has joined us with more. Kweku, which dignitaries are at this event and what have they been saying about the outgoing IGP?
The Interior Minister has been speaking fondly of the role that the IGP who is outgoing has played when it was the time of the Ghana military, the Ghana forces to present a citation to I go in ICP. The court one document said that during his tenure, it cooperated with all of the security agencies to be able to deliver proper security for the country. Currently,
Kweku, please reposition yourself. It's becoming difficult to hear you at this end.
Is it okay?
It's better now. Go ahead.
Right. So currently, the outgoing ITP is handing over the baton to incoming ITP, Mr. George Ekuku Dampare, who has just taken over the baton as acting ITP until the time is confirmed as substantive. So all the dignitaries have been speaking fondly about the ITP, and they've been saying that during his tenure, the police administration have been able to show some great successes that they hope his successor will build on.
Right. Now, James Opombwenu himself. Right, that was Kweku Asante joining us from Tesano, the police training school. Now, former senior police officer and executive secretary to the IGP, who is currently the member of parliament for Wa West, Peter Tobu, says Mr. Opombwenu leaves a legacy of good human relations with police personnel. He, however, believes he could have done more with dealing with crime.
Many of the police officers will tell you he was a solid material. What he did in the area of welfare is fantastic. I've been told reliably that his human relation was so wonderful, and his interest to see the welfare of the personnel improve was fantastic. It was so interesting to find him at the funerals of even family members of police other rank. A sergeant loses a sister, and Mr. James Opombwenu will be at the funeral himself. It was quite motivational. When you talk about promotions, I think that he's done well. He's done well because Mr. David Asante Pietu came and cleared all the backlog. And what we intended to do was to be able to sustain it so that we don't have a backlog anymore. He sustained that principle, and gradually, what he has also done that is good is the fact that the system is changing, and there are a lot of people with higher certificates who have gotten into the system even at the lower level. And we had a challenge trying to fine-tune this, mainstreaming this new challenge into a system that would improve going forward. What he did was to bring what we call amnesty. All the people who have had higher certificates and there were other ranks, they've been promoted. And there is a lot of excitement. On the other hand, the excitement had also created some bit of tension in the service because many people have served for so long, think that if we are just going to be academic in the police organization that requires some skill set, then those of them who have the skill set and are willing to work, they will just withdraw and watch the academics to come and do the work. If I want to go to operations, in fact, the police exists basically on the purpose to manage crime, prevent and manage crime. So police operations is actually what we use to assess Inspector Generals of Police. Your legacy will be assessed based on your performance on crime, on the crime front. On the crime front, all of us do know that it's not the best. Violent crime is gradually taking over the country. Court cases are rising. There are a lot of high-profile cases that are still pending investigation, and I think that that is not good enough. So in the operation front, he has a huge manner.
Now, the Proper Human, Sexual and Ghanaian Family Values Bill is expected to outlaw gay activities in the country, and this law is expected to be laid on the floor of Parliament next week, Monday. The laying will happen after the 21-day public gazetting period expires. Meanwhile, the House is expected to approve the Appointment Committee's report approving Kisi Ejaping as special prosecutor today. The report of the committee that probed the Sputnik vaccine saga is also expected in the House today. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins us live with more. Joseph, what have you been able to gather?
So, beginning with the Proper Human, Sexual and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021, I'm holding a business statement for next week, which actually outlines the business that the House will be dealing with before it takes an indefinite adjournment on Friday for MPs to go on break. And there are 5 different bills that have been tabled that will be introduced in committees in order for the House to look at. And 4 of them will be coming from the Attorney General. One of them is the private member's motion in question. So we are expecting the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2021. We are still trying to get details on what exactly is contained in this particular bill. There is the Citizenship Amendment Bill 2021. There is the Office of the Special Prosecutor Amendment Bill 2021. And then there is the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2021, all tabled. And then there is the said anti-gay bill, as it's come to be called. Samuel George and 7 other MPs will actually be introducing in the House. They'll go through the laying and the first reading for the necessary referral to the appropriate committee in order for the committee to deal with it. Daniel, the other issues that you raised, beginning with the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the report from the Appointment Committee recommending by consensus to be approved has been laid in the House. That was about 2 days ago. And a little later today, MPs will debate and approve that particular report and go ahead and approve Kisia Jabing as special prosecutor, so that then any time that the president so wishes, he can swear him in order for him to begin work. And the final one you mentioned, the 9-member committee probing the Sputnik V contracts issue. Well, it's exactly 3 weeks today that the committee was actually established, and they were given 3 weeks in order to complete their report. From what we're gathering, they still have some loose ends that they are trying to tie. So the report itself is not exactly ready. But as the vice chairman of that committee, Kwabena Mintakando, has been disclosing, they will be communicating to the House a little later today what the way forward will be, as to whether the report will be available for laying, or then the House may have to deal with it sometime next week.
Now, Joseph, you mentioned that some of these bills that are being drafted will be taken to committees, and I am curious where the anti-gay bill would go. Would it go to Gender, Children and Social Protection, because there's some human rights elements in there, or it will go to Constitutional and Legal Affairs, because you're looking at 104 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act?
So the latter will be the case. It will most likely go to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, because then this is actually a move to amend portions of an existing law to a certain extent, because then whatever the outcome of this bill will be, it will have implications on specific legalities that have been enshrined in various previous codes that the nation has actually had for several years now. And so, yes, it will most likely go to the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee. What is probably going to happen is that the Speaker may end up, because the break, which will last for the next 2 months or so, will then allow for the committees to deliberate on them, invite memoranda from members of the public, put together their report, so that then when MPs return for the 3rd session of the year, sometime in October, they will then go ahead and do the final approval.
Okay, so I'd like to know as well, the Office of Special Prosecutor bill that is being amended. I mean, this is a bill that was passed into law a few years ago. It's less than 4 years old. What's wrong with it that is requiring an amendment? Do we know?
From what I'm told, and this is a conversation that actually started in the last parliament, but the processes were never concluded, and then it all expired, and that outcome is being reintroduced in this particular parliament. From what I'm told, which we would get more details on subsequently, there is a clause there that bars people who hold dual nationality from holding the office of special prosecutor.
Right.
And that is something that right from when the initial bill was passed, there's been the commitment to get that amended, so that then there is no hindrance in terms of the pool of people that the president can possibly appoint to that position, which is why we gather is going to be amended when that amendment bill gets laid.
That is interesting, because I also heard you mention a citizenship bill, which was hinted at on PM Express by Professor Kwikwa Sare, that is going to tackle this issue of, dual nationality and this Asin North issue as well. Is that what it is, the citizenship bill?
Both are two separate bills. What will be done as far as the special prosecutor's bill is concerned will definitely be different from what will be done with the citizenship amendment bill 2021, although the likelihood again is that all of these will be considered by the Constitution and Legal Affairs Committee of the House, and it gives indication that the idea is possibly to have them look at all of these in parallel, so that then whatever alterations and whatever changes that eventually need to be made would be made bearing in mind what the other bills say as far as the whole issue of dual citizenship is concerned.
Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Now, the next story is really going to interest you, because I know that you loved Vacation Day, popularly called Our Day, back when we were in basic school now, because donations continue to pour in for a 9-year-old Oswald, a Class 3 pupil in a private school at Sakaman, who wrote a passionate Our Day wish list to his mother to ensure that she doesn't disappoint him again, as has always been the case. Oswald's letter has since gone viral on social media platform Twitter and has triggered an endless list of donations on the last day of school before vacation. Maxwell Agbagba was at the school earlier to interact with Oswald, his mother, and his class teacher, Mrs. Apia, for whom he also requested a cake as part of his Our Day celebration.
First, I wanted her to really buy it so that she will not forget. Because usually when I tell her to buy something, she forgets.
Oh, okay. So that is why you gave her a list?
Yes.
Wow. In there also you added that your iPad should be brought to school because you want to take pictures and all of that with it. Do you have your iPad with you now?
No, it's in the classroom.
Oh, it's in the classroom. A lot of people are quite surprised about how you were specific with the things that you wrote.
Yes.
Tell us, why were you so specific?
Because I wanted her to buy the real size I wanted. Because some of them, I cannot finish them all.
Oh, okay. So can't take 1 liter, so you wanted a small bottle?
Yes.
Now, one lesson that you've taught a lot of Ghanaians as well with your letter is selflessness. How not to be selfish. The first person who came on your list was your class teacher, Mrs. Apia. Tell us, why Mrs. Apia?
Because she treats me well.
I love everyone. I treat everyone as my own. In fact, I always let them know that they are my children. So when mommy is not around, Mrs. Apia is around. When mommy goes to work, Mrs. Apia is there for them. So I treat them as such. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody. And then I want to tell my teachers they should also work hard. And to my proprietors and the management, I say a very big thank you for even employing me here in their school as a teacher. God richly bless everyone.
Okay.
We didn't expect this. My colleague himself is very amazed at the pouring of donations and everything that is happening right now. We are grateful for everything that is happening, but we didn't expect this at all. This started as a normal office conversation. Chit-chat in the office, and then he took a picture. His idea was the black...
In the exams, so you shouldn't disappoint him today. What did you tell him to do in the exams?
His dad told him that he did well in the previous one, so if he could do better with this one, there'll be a surprise for him.
Okay.
So, and we usually tell him that if he does this, we'll get him this, that we are on those terms with him.
Okay.
As a result, we wanted to be part of this day and to make it very memorable for him, and especially Mrs. Apia for the good job she's doing with these kids. All of us have been children before. We cannot let this slide. So we want to be part of this. And indeed, as he mentioned, Dole yogurt is the most nutritious and potassium-filled and zinc-filled yogurt in the country. And we want to make sure that on this special day, we come and celebrate with them with his good performance, as he told the mom at the footnote, that he has performed well in the exams. They shouldn't pass by. So Dole Yogurt is here to show Oswald and Mrs. Apia the best of love, and to extend to all other staff members and people in this school as well.
Heartwarming story there of Oswald, and it's really moving when you see him standing there. He looks a bit overwhelmed, and he is definitely enjoying his Our Day. I don't think that he expected this to happen, but definitely the country and the world has come to his aid, and he does not have any challenge at all when it comes to Our Day. Now, we understand several other personalities, including musicians, and the former Minister of Education and NDC 2020 running mate, Professor Nana Jenopo-Kwajemain, have also been making various donations to Oswald. Maxwell Agbagba is still there. Maxwell, what exactly have they been given to Oswald? Right, Maxwell Agbagba is on the line with us, and he's coming to us from the private school at Dansoman, Sakaman, where Oswald attends every day. Maxwell, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you, Daniel.
Right, so which of these key personalities has come to visit Oswald, and what did they bring?
Well, Daniel, we've been here since morning. I've actually lost count of the surprises that keep pouring in for young Oswald. I don't know if you can hear the noise in the background right now. Just when I was coming out, hip-hop musician Dope Nation actually just arrived here in the school, and they're coming to do a free performance for the students. In the last 30 minutes also, came an amount of 3,000 Ghana cedis are supposed to be used to open an account for him. In the last 3 hours, we've had a lot of big brands. I've lost count of the number of big brands that came here to actually do present, items just to make the day memorable for Oswald. I've been speaking to the 9-year-old boy's father, and he tells me that his son actually loves to write, and he actually wrote a 6-page storybook and presented to him. And they actually advised him to study and pass exams with flying colors, and he succeeded at that. And so it's time for them to fulfill their part of the bargain, and we are very happy and excited that the whole of Ghana is helping them, to do this. It's a memorable day for all the students here in the school. They've been screaming, shouting, out of excitement. There's all excitement here, Daniel.
Right. We understand Professor Nana Jinopokwajiman was there as well.
Well, we saw her post on social media. As it stands now, more and more people, are coming in because the school has not closed yet. Our day, as we call it, is still in session. So we're still here monitoring to see if she's going to arrive here on the ground, and then we'll speak to her.
Right. Tell me about Oswald's classmates. How excited are they?
Well, I've been interacting with some of them, and they tell me that this is going to be their most memorable our day ever. They say since they started school, and they've never seen anything like this in their whole life. And they think that, it's never going to happen, even in subsequent years for them. And so they're happy and they're living the moment as it is right down here, Daniel.
And how is Mrs. Apia taking all of this in?
Well, she's overwhelmed. She's overwhelmed with the with all the pats that she's getting on the back and all of that. Because she said she thought she was nearly doing her job as a teacher. But even when I spoke to Oswald, he tells me that Mrs. Apia is not just a teacher to him. He tells me that Mrs. Apia treats him as his mom would do. And that was the reason why, he was the first person he listed on his letter. So Mrs. Apia says she thought she was just doing her job, and she really did not imagine that someone like the age of Oswald would actually appreciate the work and the effort that she's putting in to be appreciated in this manner. So she's overwhelmed, she's overexcited, and we are all at this point.
Thank you, Maxwell. We'll come back later in the day to catch more action from Oswald's school. It's our day for the entire nation, and it's all here on Joy News. My name is Daniel Daze. This is Joy News Today. Stay with us. Business is up next. Let's do business. And the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has stated that a new task force will be formed and deployed to control small-scale mining operations in the country. The task force will specifically ensure legally registered small-scale miners are working within the remits of their licensing. The composition of the task force remains unclear, but members of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners are expected to be part. Nana Aljima has more.
With scanning equipment, the task force is expected to scan documentation displayed openly to ascertain authenticity. Miners are expected to put up physical structures in the concession, including a clinic, to make mining professional and ensure safety of staff. Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, George Mirkuduka, says the task force will work towards ensuring the miners work within the remits of the law.
A task force, no. Yeah, Babetieno. Boy, maybe to me, I share money say, more tax force, I'm one. With
the task force we are setting up, the pledge is that the association's task force will not be left out. The task force do not need the owner of the concession before they work there. They only scan the documents displayed on the mine. They will also inspect that the mining is done responsibly.
Oh, indeed, we a small-scale mining concession.
The Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners has accepted an offer to have its members on the task force. Already, the association is using self-drafted regulations to ensure its members mine responsibly. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan speaks for the association.
Our members, the only thing we've been telling them from time immemorial, do the right thing, mine responsibly, make sure that your site is genuine, your site looks more responsible, and we keep on, as from today, we have some ethics that everybody must follow, and they make sure that they will do the right thing. So our members, we are assuring them, we will go after them. Anybody who is doing the wrong thing, we ourselves will take it up and make sure that we will stop you from doing the illegalities.
For Joy News, Nana Elchima, Kumasi.
In order to reduce credit risk issues and non-performing loans within the banking space, in line with its mission to deepen the interest of credit profession and address risk-related issues, the Institute has initiated an award scheme to reward and honor banks and other financial institutions that have achieved outstanding success in the credit risk landscape. There's more in this report.
The annual Ghana Credit Excellence Awards will play a catalytic role in shaping and growing businesses in areas such as trade finance, non-trade finance, and export finance. Friends Bureau and debt collection firms as well as their customers for gathering qualitative data.
The objectives of the awards are to honor top-class performance, excellence, and innovation across the Ghanaian credit risk landscape. First one. The second one is to promote the growth of the sector through progressive competition, innovation, and adherence to the highest professional standards. Ladies and gentlemen, the awards will assess the performance of 36 institutions in all, 36. This will be made up of 12 banks, 15 specialized deposit-taking institutions, duly licensed by the Bank of Ghana. I repeat, duly licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Additionally, 3 credit reference bureaus, 3 debt collection agencies, 3 mobile communication companies will be assessed as well.
President of the Chartered Institute of Credit Management, Madam Helen Obin Okun, later told Joy Business that her outfit's mission is to ensure that banks and other financial institutions always adhere to credit risk management and remain liquid all time. This move, she believes, will minimize loan losses. She said the 2020 financial statement of the banks and specialized deposit-taking institutions will be the main material that will be assessed beside the survey it will carry out.
Like we're saying, credit and risk management is good for all institutions. It's not only even for the financial sectors. So once you are good in credit management, you basically you are sustainable because your liquidity is better. You are sustainable and you are most likely going to grow. So the essence is to ensure that we get better companies that are sustainable, that are growing. Not only the foreign companies, but our local Ghanaian businesses.
The total number of awards to be given are 12. They include Best Bank in Trade Finance, Best Bank in Mortgage Finance, and overall Best Bank.
Live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. Up next is sports.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, the management of the DJS Union of Ghana has officially signed a memorandum of understanding with the Musicians Union of Ghana to help solve matters of mutual interest and to help the development of Ghana's music industry. Mekwikwe is the founder of the DJS Union of Ghana.
Going to achieve, a great deal of development. It's going to achieve a great deal of amelioration. You agree, as you said. We have been working, from different quarters over the years. Since I grew up, there have been musicians on one side, DJs on the other side. At one point, you have DJs complain about musicians. At the other time, you have musicians complain about DJs. But there haven't been that formal, approach to what we do. And this is the first time this gets to happen in Africa. So it tells you that the future is really bright. It tells you that our music is going to be fortified. It tells you that with unity, we are going to be able to cross over with the content that we have. So we get the rest of Africa to hear, and we get the rest of the world to hear.